The year is 1941. The Germans have just declared war on the Soviet Union. They're winning and soon they'll control much of Europe. But they have a problem. You see, the German army relies on something called Enigma. It's a machine that can encrypt secret messages by scrambling them with almost infinite complexity. To most people, including the British and French military, it seems impossible to break. But secretly, a team of codebreakers led by a brilliant mathematician named Alan Turing are on the case. What follows will shock the world. It's me and you're watching this channel. In less than 60 seconds, we uncover history's hidden heroes and bring their stories to life. Let's do it. We've all heard about World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history. A fight between good and evil that left an estimated 70 to 85 million people dead. But what we usually don't hear about are the quiet heroes whose efforts made all the difference. Between victory and defeat, when the war began, the British government realized that if they could read German messages, they might be able to stop the Nazis before they invaded Britain. Enter Enigma. The problem was no one could break its encryption. That is everyone except maybe Alan Turing. If you've ever seen the movie Imitation Game, then you probably know that Alan Turing was a genius who loved math, logic puzzles, and building machines. He imagined a world where computers would be commonplace, a time when people would carry smartphones around. But that was just a dream. In 1938, computers didn't even exist. The most advanced machines were clunky and useless compared to today's standards. But this wouldn't stop Turing. He was determined to find a way to crack the Enigma code. To understand what he did next, we need to understand how Enigma worked. It had a keyboard where users could type letters and a series of rotors that would shuffle them around, making them unreadable to anyone without the correct key. With Enigma, the Germans could send orders across Europe and no one would know what they said. In 1938, Turing joined forces with a Polish mathematician named Marian Rejewski, who had already made some progress in cracking the code. Together, they spent months creating a replica of the Enigma machine and its encryption system. Finally, in May 1939, they got their first big break. On May, Rejewski was able to use his bomb machine to decrypt the German message. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Germany was preparing to invade Poland, which would change the course of the war forever. With each passing moment, lives were hanging in the balance. Suddenly, the replicated Enigma machine lit up, signaling that it had decrypted a message. Could this be the breakthrough they've been waiting for? As Rejewski watched, his heart pounding, the machine revealed the secrets of the German attack. The Allies were prepared, and the invasion wasn't as devastating as it could have been. After the war, historians would estimate that breaking the Enigma code saved millions of lives and cut the war short by 2 years. But that was only the beginning. In June 1940, France fell to the Germans. London was next. Bombs were falling from the sky. People were running for their lives. It seemed like the end was near. But through all the chaos, one thing was clear. The war was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. On July, the Germans launched a massive air assault against London, dropping thousands of bombs that killed and injured hundreds of civilians. This would come to be known as the Blitz. For the next 57 consecutive nights, the Germans bombed London, killing nearly 40,000 people. All the while, Turing and his team worked tirelessly to decipher German messages, coordinating with the Royal Air Force to direct bombers to the right targets. In the midst of this chaos, Turing made a pivotal decision. He would help build a new version of the bomb machine. It would be faster, more powerful, capable of deciphering the most complex codes. The only problem was they needed to keep this top secret. If the Germans knew they were being spied on, they could change their encryption and the whole operation would fall apart. So Turing and his team set to work in secrecy, developing the bomb under the cover of night. They worked day and night, eating, sleeping, and breathing the project. Soon, the new bomb machine was up and running. It was an early computer capable of testing thousands of possibilities at lightning speed. Suddenly, what once seemed impossible became a reality. But as the war dragged on and the death toll mounted, Turing's team faced a moral dilemma. Should they continue to spy on the Germans or use their knowledge to help the Allies? In the end, they chose to do both. As the Allied troops closed in on Berlin, Turing and his team had one final mission. They needed to retrieve as much German intelligence as possible. It was dangerous work, but someone had to do it. So they set out on a mission to discover the truth behind Hitler's war plans. What they found shocked the world. Hitler had been planning to invade Russia, a move that would ultimately lead to his downfall. With this knowledge in hand, the Allies were able to prepare for the invasion and minimize casualties. As the war came to an end, Turing and his team returned home to Britain. They had done the impossible. They had cracked the Enigma code and helped win the war. But they had also paid a heavy price. Many of them had lost friends and family in the conflict, and Turing himself would be arrested for being gay, a crime that carried a prison sentence. Despite everything he had accomplished, the British government saw Turing as a threat to society and forced him to undergo chemical castration. Eventually, he escaped to Switzerland, where he lived out the rest of his days. In 1954, he died of cyanide poisoning in what was ruled a suicide. Today, Turing's story is finally getting the attention he deserves. In 2013, the British government pardoned him for his crime, and in 2019, a statue was erected in his honor at the University of Manchester. So what can we learn from Alan Turing? How can we apply his legacy to our own lives? Well, first and foremost, we can be inspired by his courage and determination. Turing was a man who dared to dream of a better world and worked tirelessly to make it a reality. Secondly, we can appreciate the importance of diversity and inclusion. Turing was gay at a time when homosexuality was illegal and he suffered persecution as a result. But he never gave up on who he was, and his contributions to society should serve as a reminder that everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity regardless of sexual orientation. Finally, we can remember that even in the darkest of times, hope can prevail. Turing and his team of codebreakers worked in secrecy during the Blitz, when bombs were falling from the sky, but they never lost sight of their goal. Their work helped shorten World War II and save countless lives. What do you think of Alan Turing? What other unsung heroes would you like to see us cover? Let us know in the comments below. And now for a little engagement hope. Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet? Without Turing, that might have been our reality. Now it's time for our call to action. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe for more untold stories that shaped our world. And be sure to check out our new podcast, available on various platforms. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.